Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and yet we're back with another AAP. So, this is one of my customers, and he's decided to go for a Loki stealth and a Loki hop unit. So here's the Loki hop unit, here's the stealth, and obviously if you don't know, the stealth is the rail that sits on the top so you can adjust it by the wheel, so you don't have to run around and carry the Allen key to adjust your hop unit. Now the Lokis in general, if you stick them with a pink flamingo, which this one's going to get, they are utterly ridiculous. They are lifting silly weights. I've said this before. They are absolutely fantastic with the way they're designed. Hadron's done a fantastic job. And the quality of them are just ridiculous. And as this video stands now, there's something that's just being released actually. It's the Next Speed hop unit. I haven't tried it yet. I will be, but I'm really not bothered about jumping straight down and trying it because these are just ridiculous. You know, even with the feed ramps on these, you know, I've had them up to 55 rounds a second, feeding comfortably, and that's more than enough. You don't need any more, so I don't need to rush into it and go get one, to be honest. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to fit the hop unit for them. Obviously they've got the stainless steel upgrade, that came to me as well, so that had a rebuild because that wasn't working right, and now it works fine. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to install the Loki and the stealth. Obviously, like I said, it's the rail and the wheel, and then we will get it lifting some silly weights like 0.48s. So what we're going to do is going to take off the outer barrel first. Okay, just both them bolts. Make sure you get a little pop for all your nuts and bolts. Give it a pull, a little wiggle out, and we're done. Now I take the blowback unit out because we're going to have to drill this in a minute, and I don't want no plasticky dust dropping down the nozzle. You know, the customer certainly doesn't want that, because that can cause some issues. So we'll take this out. It's a nice lightweight blowback unit as well. So bouncer kit, of course it's got a bouncer kit. Again, Hadron, you know, 300% nozzle spring in there. Bouncer kit, lovely bit of kit, absolutely lovely, nice and snappy. People always assume that stick a 200% recoil spring in there, but that's not the case. That'll cause issues. Use the bouncer, use a stock recoil spring, you are golden. It is just a brilliant little setup. There's no need for the super high speed 200-300% recoil springs with 5 short strokes. It's not going to work. You know, the amount of people who think they can stick any part in and it work is unfortunate. AAPs are a combination. That's what they are. You've got to get the ratios right. But regardless, the bounce kits are good. So let's get these little puppies out. So what we're doing is we're going to take, obviously, the barrel. They've upgraded the hop already. It's got the pink flamingo in there, and the fang plate. So we are. My screwdriver gone. I'll put it away. That's good, isn't it? But they're obviously, it's not enough, and they're going to want to lift a little more. So we're going to undo these 4 screws to get that out. And if you're doing this on your AAP, because you want to use the same hot rubber, make sure you twist these dials so you can actually get to it. Oh, there we go. Got the little groove there so you can get a screwdriver in. So let's pop all them out. Cool. Don't forget, you're going to have that, oh, they're on the other side, there you go. You're going to have the 2 little nuts, they're going to be on one of the 2 sides because they're just loosely sat in there, so make sure you don't lose them. I'll drop that in there as well. I'll just leave it in there for a minute. Cool, so Nice little maple leaf crazy jet, fantastic bits of kit. I love them, to be fair, so there's no need for me to do anything here. It's all set in nicely. So, getting on with the Loki. Now, instead of installing it straight away, we're going to install it empty, because we're going to need to drill the upper receiver, and to do that, what a lot of people don't realise is the Loki has its own guide to drilling. Now, you'll see it when it's actually built. However, if we leave everything here, the only things you are going to need, you don't necessarily, you can drill without this part and screwing this in at the top. However, screw it in at the top, which is ideal, because then it'll be pinpoint accurate. So let's get all this out. It comes with its own drill bit, so that's perfect. It does come with an Allen key as well, but we don't need none of that. So we'll take the two little bolts out. I will set these to the side, it'll just be easier in that little pot instead of the bag. So, let's drop this on there.
I wonder what would happen if you could just take this
moment. Flathead.
You could close your eyes and open your hands. You could forget about the madness around you and all of the stresses of this world. You could say whatever's left, Lord, you can have it. You surrender. And you say this: I need some hope, I need your help, I need your hand inside my life. I tried to go, but I'm not well. I need your plan, show me the light, help me surrender.
All you got to do is just nip them up. They don't need to be super tight. Nip them up, and that's them in there. Now what we're going to do is we are going to get the screws that we just left in there. And you're going to try, I need the other two little ones as well. So you're going to try and get this in the correct holes. So what we're going to do is, again, we're building it naked, there's nothing in there. I'll screw this one in and show you what I mean with the drilling. So if you can see, we've got holes everywhere, so these are for the barrel and the grub screws. And if you actually have a look, you should notice this hole here. It actually lines up with the hole on the top, okay? And if you put the Allen key through it, you can see it's a direct line. So if you're on the top of the gun, your Allen key's in, and you're adjusting the hop to get that hole there, you're going to drill through the bottom. Now the drill bit is the right size, it fits in perfectly and moves through. So once this is put into the gun, we're going to start drilling through the receiver, and then we're going to be able to put the TDC through the top. So it's good that they put that hole in there, because otherwise you'd be in trouble. Now, just getting these in. Where's my Allen key gone? There it is. Right. So now, if you can imagine, the upper receiver has no hole. This is for a rail, this isn't for the Loki. The Loki is going to sit around here. Okay, now dropping this in through the hole, and then you start drilling, it's going to drill perfectly through the upper receiver. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay. I always have quite a lot showing, because if you go punch through, you know, you don't risk damaging the Loki. We don't have to do this for the stealth, because obviously the rail itself has that hole in it anyway, and little O-ring for the wheel. So you can do it freehand. It depends if you trust yourself. If you want to obviously clamp it down in something, I personally wouldn't. It's easy enough. You can let it literally hang, grab position. All you've got to do is pull the trigger and apply a very small amount of pressure, and it will drill through. Be careful of your fingers for obvious reasons, but let me show you now. Once you feel it start pushing through, ease up on the pressure so you don't smash through it. There you go. And I've just stopped just before it's hit the Loki, so we've got no damage. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull it out. And that is the hole that's been pushed through. Now we're going to get rid of this excess in a minute. I don't know if the camera will pick it up well, but you might be able to see down there. If not, you know, just dropping the Allen key down, it passes all the way through now. So that's how we're going to adjust the hop if we didn't have the stealth. Now, you can just clean it up a little bit through this side if you really want. It's up to you. You can also get a little blade and scrape it off. What I tend to do is either do it with a little knife, or I've got these tungsten carbide little drill bits, so you can just hand twist it in there, so you're not causing a massive amount of damage. It should loosen it all up, and you should just be able to pick it off. Just literally be able to pick off the excess, and then you're done. Failing that, you can get a knife of some sorts, as long as it's sharp, and you can go around the edge and just trim it all off. But obviously don't forget, knives are sharp and knives are dangerous, so be very careful. So yeah, just give it a little twist. If you've got one of these, make sure it's all nice and smooth. Okay, what I'll probably do is clean it up a little bit later, because I have OCD and that is hideous. But that'll be tidied up, so it doesn't have any roughness on it at all. Cool, now what we're going to do is we're going to take it out and we're going to build it. So, if we take this out, if we have a look, just give it a little wipe down the side. You definitely don't want any excess in there. So lovely and clean again. The hole's looking pretty clean. Okay, obviously I'm going to tidy that up anyway afterwards, but you can see there's no damage to the Loki whatsoever. So as long as you do it right and you don't slip, you are golden. If you do slip, then it probably won't be too bad, to be fair, as long as you're gentle. So I'll take these out. So what we're going to do is, once everything's removed, we're going to have to put everything else back in there. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to drop the pink flamingo. If you're running anything sub 350, I'd say go below 50 at 50 degrees. Get a 50-degree bucking, or you can use a 60 if you're using heavier weights. Me personally, I'll happily go up to a 0.36 on a 50 degree all day long. It'll lift more than that. I have stuck 0.46s through it and it will still lift it, because this hop unit is ridiculous. But what we're going to do is, obviously that's correctly seated. Now a lot of people drop these in on a dry rubber. That's not good, because they won't seat correctly. You do need some lube. So all you need is a little drop. Okay, get your finger and just rub it around the outside. Alright, because that will then allow it to drop in. And then all you're going to do is line the little nub up. Okay, like this, and then you're going to gently just pull in one swift motion all the way down. Okay, now that should line up with the top of the ramp just here at the hop unit. Okay, and if that's lined up correctly, then you're going to get no issues whatsoever. So just make sure that obviously this is all lubed up properly, because it just won't slip in otherwise. It's very tight and well fitted, to be honest. You can push down through this way if you really want. It's a bit, you know, hit and miss, but you are easier just pulling on the barrel very gently. Alright, if it stops, just stop. If it's, as long as it's seated on the ramp, you're all good. And what we'd do is we will drop, and this is another way just to test whether it's seated correctly. So we're going to get out the other parts of the Loki. Now I've got very chubby fingers and I have to use pliers for this, but you don't have to if you can do it. Okay, so just a pair of needle nose to drop this block in. So there, that is dropped in. And all you want to do, just to check it, is get a screwdriver, anything that fit, Allen key, and make sure once you look down the barrel and you push down, that you can see that everything's engaging properly and it's pushing the hot rubber down nicely. And I'm going to drop this in on the top. Oh, hold on a second. Don't forget the shiny metal plate that keeps everything together. So the only difference that we're not going to do today that you should normally do, which I will show you anyway, just so you know,